What's up guys, it's Kaz, and today I'm going to do some testing with Fuuki the Wind Onimusha. Now a few days ago I posted a video testing him out, and I got some really good feedback from you guys on some different builds and suggestions. And so I want to take the time to look at some of those suggestions that you guys gave, and I'm going to be doing some tests to determine what is the best build for the Onimusha. Now, my build right now is a hybrid build. I've got about plus 20,000 HP and a plus 1,000 attack. And I've got him a little bit slower than I did in my last video because part of what I'm going to be testing is going to be whether or not defense break affects his damage and whether or not attack buff is going to affect his damage and by how much. And so I'm going to be putting him with my Tiana Cleave, which means that I needed him to be a little bit slower. And so we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at what factors matter and what factors don't. Alright guys, so I've set up kind of an all-fire defense here to try to take down Fuuki's HP. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test him out with full HP, no defense break, no attack buff, and then we're going to use that as the baseline for how much damage he deals using different factors. So let's jump right into the fight. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get everything cleansed up. And the first factor we want to test is going to be just straight damage with no defense break, no attack buff. So we're going to go ahead and just waste our turn on the Balagur, and we're going to attack the Vanessa. And it looks like we did about 2k to 2.5k per attack. Alright, so let's see if we can get Fuuki down a little bit and see how much of a difference his HP is going to make. Alright guys, so Fuuki is nearly dead now, and we are going to do the damage test on the Vanessa again and see how much damage he does, missing about 30,000 HP. Alright, so he hit, looks like on average, about 7k per attack. And just looking at the Revenge, we can go ahead and tell that the Revenge does not trigger the passive as well. So we know that the Revenge runes are going to be completely worthless on him. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and test his damage when the enemy is defense broken, but he does not have an attack buff. Now keep in mind, when he was near full HP last time, he was doing about 2 to 2.5k damage. So we're looking for a little bit more on this hit to determine whether or not defense break is going to affect his damage. And it looks like he hit about 3.5k. So it does affect his damage, if only just a little bit. Alright, so now we've got defense break and attack buff on, so we are looking for something to beat 3.5k damage. And we'll see how much of a difference it's going to make. And hitting the Vanessa, he hits, looks like around 4k damage, so not a huge difference. So we're going to set it up again, this time with low defense and see how much, or low HP, and see how much of a difference it's going to make. Alright guys, so we have Fuuki at 1 HP now. We've got a defense broken Vanessa, and we've got an attack buff on our Fuuki. So we are looking at beating 7,000 damage per hit, which is what we had from low HP last time. So let's see how much we do. We're looking at about 9.5 to 10,000 per hit. So the attack buff and the defense break do help a little bit. But now let's look into some different builds and see if we can figure out what will maximize this damage. Alright guys, so the next build we got is going to be the full damage build. We had a comment that suggested full attack and that his passive, 20% of 20%, wasn't really contributing a whole lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to set him up with the defense break and attack buff, see what he does at full health, and then see what he does at low health. Alright guys, so we've got the Fuuki at full HP, we've got our Vanessa defense broken, and we've got the attack buff. So we are looking at beating 4.5k HP from when we had our hybrid build. So let's see how much of a difference the full attack build is going to make at full HP. and it looks like it hit about 4.5k, so that didn't do a whole lot of damage. Alright guys, so we got the same setup. This time we have our Fuuki at lower HP. So let's see how much of a difference this makes on that Vanessa. And it looks like we hit about 8,000. So this is actually going to be significantly less than the low HP test that we did involving the hybrid build. So it looks like full attack is actually going to be less effective than an HP build. Alright guys, for our last test, we have Fuuki built on a straight up HP build. We've got him at about 49,000 HP. So we're going to do a test with full HP, and then we're going to do one with low HP and see how much of a difference it makes. Alright guys, so we have our HP on an HP build. We have him near full HP. Remember, our baseline with the attack buff and defense break was about 4.5k per hit, and with the attack build he was doing it about 6k per hit. So let's see what it looks like with the HP build. And we're looking at about 5k per hit, so average damage when we're at full HP. Alright guys, so we've got our Fuuki at 1 HP now, and we are going to do the final test. We've lost the attack buff. But ultimately, since we don't have any attack on him, it really shouldn't make that big of a difference. So let's see how much damage he's going to do, full HP build, on a Vanessa that is defense broken. And we're looking at about 10k per hit. And so that was pretty equal to what we were looking at with the hybrid build. Alright guys, so we're on our final test here. I wanted to do a low HP hit when the Fuuki had the attack buff, just to make sure that it wasn't changing the results. And it took me forever because Garo loved stunning my Fuuki. So I went ahead and put my Fran in here so I could have that immunity to make sure I got this set up properly. Alright, so final test, full HP Fuuki against a defense broken Vanessa. How much damage are we doing? Our highest test right now is 10k per hit. Can we beat that? About 13k per hit. So we have confirmed that the best build is full HP with a defense break and attack buff. Alright guys, to end this video, I thought it was only appropriate that we went after a Miho defense that is in a Nat 4 tower for Siege. So I'm going up against a Garo, Miho, and Orion defense. We're going to go in with our own Fran, Fuuki, and Lauren. Our Lauren is on Swift, so I should easily be able to outspeed that Orion. And my plan is going to be to push that Orion back, kill him right off the bat, and then we're going to work on that Garo. Alright, so my Lauren did indeed go first, so let's go ahead and push back that Orion. Got that defense break, good. Let's go ahead and give us an attack buff. And don't strip. Okay, good. So we are good there. Let's go ahead and let's do some damage to that Orion. Push him back some more. Can we get that defense break on him for this attack? Yes. And let's go ahead and let's actually see how much that second skill does when we're in that full HP build. Alright, so that actually didn't do too bad. So let's go ahead and I think we're in a little bit of trouble here. Let's push back that Garo. Let's push him back some more. Or just kill him, and let's see if we can kill this Miho here. So 20k, it's a little bit of a tankier Miho. Let's push her back. And let's finish her off. Perfect. Alright guys, so we do have one more test to do, and it comes from Threft No Skill. He suggested using skill 2 on a full attack build. So we're going to jump in and we're going to see what kind of damage his skill 2 does when he's on a full attack build. Alright, we've got everyone defense broken, we've got our Fuuki attack buffed, and let's see how much that skill 2 is going to do on the full attack build. And it looks like about 27-28k. So it looks like that's going to be a viable build if you're using a cleave team with his skill 2. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Big shout out to Babushka for the suggestion on the straight HP build and the information regarding the revenge not being a factor in it. So big shout out to you. Appreciate all the feedback that's coming out from the community. If you found this helpful, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe. And if you have any other suggestions regarding Fuuki or any of the Onimushas, put it down in the comments below and we'll see if we can't test it out. Until next time, peace out.